Here we have a 1988 E1 Hurricane with an 8V92 Detroit engine and an Allison automatic transmission. It has a 1,500 gallon per minute pump and a 500 gallon water tank with foam. This rig proudly served the city of Montebello in California up until 2015. Hi, I'm Jesse Quinalty, and this is Firefighters and Fire Trucks Getting Ice Cream. My guest on the show today is my good friend Dave Emanuel. Dave is currently the fire chief of Durham, New Hampshire Fire Department and speaks all over the country regarding firehouse bullying and leadership. Dave is always a fun person to hang out, even without ice cream. So let's go pick up Dave, see what he has going on.
Hi everybody, it's Jesse Quinalty back with another episode of Firefighters and Fire Trucks Getting Ice Cream. Today we're actually going to go meet Dave Emanuel. He's actually down here in Rancho Cucamonga, which is the city where my training facility is for red helmet training. He was down here in Anaheim at a CPSE conference looking at credentialing for his fire department. So this is kind of a special episode. We have a guest speaker that came down here and we figured out, let's try to figure out a way to hook up and go get some ice cream and just talk about some cool stuff. So I'm at a red light right now, but we'll be seeing him pretty soon. I think we should be doing a red light challenge right now, but I think that's a different show. So we're gonna go over here to the hotel, pick up Dave, and go get some ice cream and just talk about normal, good fire service stuff. Kind of a cool fire engine. It's an old E1 from Montebello Fire Department with a lot of history. We'll kind of profile the rig later on our website. But this engine actually got burned over in some fires in Malibu that, like I said, we'll be profiling on our website so you can see. So, yeah, check it out. Pretty cool rig, you know?
Way cool.
I think, were you talking about you used to actually have one of these that you used to ride on?
I did. I cut my teeth on one. I loved it.
You cut your teeth on it?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. My first fire engine was an old Van Pelt, which I'll be driving one of those for another series later on down the road, which will be pretty cool.
I look forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
We had a 1974 CF Mac and this brand new 1990.
No, those are
E1.
awesome, man. An old CF Mac, those things are really awesome.
It was a manual transmission, and at one point, one of the captains told me that we were able to achieve 0 G's when we popped the clutch.
Right?
Because he and the air pack were all suspended in the air.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect. The good news was we didn't lay any hose that day.
You know, it's kind of one of the cool things with this series is, not only are we getting to hang out with cool people like you and talk about just really great fire service info, but we get to profile history of the fire service. This is actually an old Montebello rig, and it actually got burned over in a fire in Malibu Canyon. At that time, it actually had to get recapped, repainted. So this rig's got a lot of history to it, and it's amazing. Like, you still have a lot of firefighters out there that this is the engine that guy that owns it now. He started on, and he bought the fire engine once it retired, and
That's just cool.
we just got to continue that tradition and keep sending stuff out.
We just traded ours in this past year, and we had talked about can we keep it in the family, and it was part of the package deal. We lost our opportunity on that one.
Yeah, well, that's tough.
Yeah, we had a similar experience. We melted all the paint, or we burned all the paint off of it, rippled all the gauges one day. That resulted in a new fancy paint job. They hold up really well.
Right. Was that on a commercial job? If it's a commercial job, or
it was on a barn conversion into a residential house at the end of a 2,000-foot driveway without a water supply. It was a rough day for us.
Well, sometimes we talk about putting our lives on the line for lives, and sometimes we're putting property on the line for property. And
you were correct. We had backed out before we burned all our lines off and messed up the truck.
Right.
It happens. It's a bad day.
So it's kind of cool. You get to come out here to Rancho Cucamonga. This is where Red Helmet Training kind of started with our facility. So we'll get to go tour that today. But you were down here in Anaheim for the CPSE conference?
Yes, I was appointed to commissioner for the Center for Public Safety Excellence on the professional credentialing side. And this is my first time at that program, and I was really digging it. I get to meet some excellent people and further my understanding on how professional credentialing moves individuals, organizations, and our whole industry forward. It was a great opportunity. I met some cool cats.
So, and your department has gone through credentialing, or you're getting ready to do that?
We have been, as individuals, we've had a handful of us, and we're working on the next generation of that right now as individuals, and we're doing the research on what it would take to become a professionally accredited agency. There are not very many in New England, and there are none in the state of New Hampshire right now. So, when we talk about cutting edge, I know it's not cutting edge for you guys, and it's not cutting edge for the Southeast, but the Northeast, in New England, we're still grasping this.
Okay.
It's cool stuff.
So, what does that process look like? I mean, just from a shell standpoint, what's all involved in going through that process?
Well, starting as an individual, it documents, it helps you articulate, or when I first started, I was in the promotional cycle, and it really helped me get my thoughts together about where I was professionally and where I needed to be promotable. So it talks about your technical competencies, your educational competencies, your skills, and what you're doing and what you need to do to get where you want to be. And then you renew it on a 3-year cycle, so you're applying to show that you are still current, you're still taking classes, you're still participating in the community. What do you deliver to the community?
Right.
And what do you do to the industry to help people grow and develop?
And they have credentialing for all levels, company officer and chief officer levels?
Absolutely, from the fire marshal to the EMS officer, company officer, chief officer, training officer. They've really expanded in a lot of fields. And it's a model of continuous quality improvement.
So that's credentialing on the individual side, and then the department, then they're looking at the department as a whole.
Yes, and I'm still learning about that part. I just participated in a 3-day boot camp on learning how to start to look at it and what kind of documents need to bring together.
Right.
Whether it's for the ISO rating or the insurance ratings or for credentialing, everything is based on what your community needs, wants, demands, and how you can set benchmarks for where you are and goals for where you should be.
Now, is there a way that they discuss actually bringing in community and shareholders into that process to kind of help you achieve that goal?
Absolutely. And I'm not keenly dialed in on that yet. I'm still working on that. But surveying the community and doing town meetings to understand what the community's risk assessment, hazards assessment, community risk reduction program is, are all part of the deal.
Right.
Jesse, your view here in Rancho Cucamonga is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
That mountain is awesome.
It's really cool. California, the beach isn't that far, Disneyland's not that far, I got the mountains right here. It's pretty awesome.
Wow. It's a little different than New Hampshire.
So my buddy actually, the fire chief of Murrieta, he just went through the process of getting his department credentialed, and you can see it on his face how much work it really is. You can tell by the time he was done, it was a big sigh of relief. That was a great process to go through, but it is a lot of work. But it's such a benchmark and it's such a goal that you really feel just that you've accomplished just this huge thing out of it, and you could see it from the time he was going through it till the time it was done.
I understand. I have a good friend in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, who left Durham and went to Fond du Lac and spent the next several years building the accreditation program with his team. And to focus resources, or for the community to allocate resources for the credentialing processes, that's part of the deal.
Right.
And I listened to a number of hearings where the commissioners would interview the panel that had applied to be credentialed, and the town administrator, the fire chief, officers, credentialing manager, to the junior firemen, firefighters are present, talking about what they did and how they got there together.
Wow.
And I'm kind of excited because this year during our budget presentation, I had a town councilor ask, hey, we have 2 accredited police departments in our town. The university is accredited, the town police department's accredited. Why aren't you guys accredited?
Right.
And I said, that's a great lead-in for why we're asking for a training officer, and I would love to report back to you on what it would cost us to become a credentialed fire department to lead the way. We're working on that right now.
Yeah. And well, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of fire departments that they look at the credentialing process and they say, well, what do we get out of it from a fire department perspective? What do we get besides a piece of paper that says we're credentialed?
And that's a really good question. We talked about that a lot this week, exploring how it's a lot more than just a sticker on the side of the truck.
Right.
How it's a multi-year process that could outlive us for re-credentialing the next time Durham goes to get their credentialing. It's a different chief, a different assistant chief, a different deputy chief, maybe new captains.
Right.
So we talked about the importance of having the goals, the vision, the core values of the fire department, not being any part of me or the chief, but of the whole organization, the fire department, and going all the way down to the greenest people we have to get the men and women of the Durham Fire Department to help us articulate this, and to do it through continuous quality improvement and looking into the future. Not what do we need to get the chief a credential, or what does the chief want if the chief wants to be credentialed. It's not about what the chief wants, it's about what the community wants or needs, and what the members can pull together.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, and you're getting, like you said, you're getting everybody involved all the way down to the brand new firefighter on why we're doing it.
I think you're hitting it on the head. It's not about what we're doing, it's why we're doing it.
Right.
And across the country, we're trying to do the same thing. We might do it a little bit differently in coastal California than we do in coastal New Hampshire.
Right.
We're serving very similar people to do the same. It's the life, property, the environment. We're all protecting the same stuff.
Well, we all know that that's like a normal thing in the fire service today anyways, is we're constantly, well, why do we do this and why do we do that? I think that's pretty normal, Chief Brunicini would always talk about firefighters only hate one thing, and that's change.
We don't like the way it is, and we don't want to change.
Right.
We hear that regularly.
Yeah.
On both sides of the country. That's a true story. But I think if we're committed to our profession, committed to our industry, we are responsible for driving the change to make sure that we're providing the right services to grow and develop and be in a position where we can serve our communities for the future.
Right. Well, and we have to continue to look at how the fire department operates, because in most places it's becoming an unsustainable model to run the amount of calls that we're running. And I understand the reason why. Hey, EMS is definitely something the fire service should have put their hands in and should have got involved in, but at the same time, you're talking about fire engines that have a lot of wear and tear, a lot of maintenance, a lot of miles on them, with those EMS calls that come into that. But every time that fire engine hits the street, it's costing a lot of money. And how do we continue to justify that and come up with creative ways, whether it's community paramedicine or quick attack squad units or something to that effect? Because literally, like again, Brunicini would say, we're trying to deliver pizzas, but we're doing it in concrete trucks.
Yes.
It makes it really tough for us to do everything that we're trying to do.
The model has to change with the times.
Right.
I guess that's one of the things I look forward to. As a new fire chief, just updating. We haven't touched our strategic plan since 2001. When we first went to 5-person staffing, and it's time to report back on that. Right. In 2013, we established a residential housing standard that required the fire department to inspect residential dwellings in the town of Durham. The University of New Hampshire was ahead of the town, but together we have an undergraduate student population of about 14,000 people for the University of New Hampshire.
Wow.
About 12,000. 2017 census says Durham, New Hampshire has 16,000 people in it across 22 square miles.
Right.
So The fire department provides services, and we're not always as good as we could be with providing metrics to the town government to say, this is how our community risk reduction plan has paid back to the town. Or every town, the university, we are their insurance policy. So they are keenly astute when we perform salvage operations above and beyond.
Right.
Whether it's a water leak, whether it's a smoke problem, whatever the issue is, we earn our keep with them. And they know that because they are their asset managers. But for the town, for the general population, although we responded to over 50 fires last year in a mutual aid capacity, 4 of them were within our jurisdiction.
Right.
So for the normal citizen and taxpayer, they don't always understand what we do to earn our keep and what the value we add to the community is. And it's important to know that and to be able to justify that with numbers. We're working on addressing that right now.
And that's the hard part, is sometimes whether it's the community or our politicians, of the public figures, sometimes we are looked at just an insurance policy. Well, sometimes we can cut that service and just hope that nothing bad happens. And we all know that every fire department in the United States or throughout anywhere, eventually they're going to have that one big call that overtaxes their fire service. And if you're cutting those budgets or cutting those resources, it can make it really trying on your department.
It all comes down to data and data management. And can we accurately capture what we do?
Right.
All aspects of the fire department, starting off with the simplest training, the staffing levels, our responses, our response times, our community risk reduction program through inspections, education, the community training we do, the placement of defibrillators that our Firefighters Association does in the community.
Right.
These are the things that pay off. Not necessarily how many dollars did you save in fire loss this year. What value did you bring to the community?
Yeah, for sure. And when you start talking about that data, I think it's getting more and more to the understanding that the police have been doing a great job of calculating that data, but unfortunately we haven't really been doing a great service to ourselves.
No, you're right. And I guess I look back at the accreditation model again. We've had 2 accredited police departments as long as I can remember. So law enforcement's had it ahead of us on some of the grants, some of the understanding, some of the ways to explain what they do and how they do it.
I need to find a place to park. This isn't an operating fire engine, so I don't really want a red Corvette, but
I think somebody else had the same idea. Everybody's out for ice cream today.
Well, the restaurant next door is Corky's or whatever it is, or it's a place that stays fairly busy. So Dave, if you reach over, the power button for these things is actually on the side, on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Hold it down, and you see the counter marker that's tallying minutes right now or seconds. If you hold that down until that shuts off.
Woohoo! Those
Handles.
yeah, I love ice cream.
Firefighters talk to love ice cream. Hello, how are you? Good.
Get this, brother. We got this.
You want some ice cream?
I would love some ice cream.
Try to make it easy, yeah, because we're going to take it to go.
Vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream?
Chocolate ice cream. What you want?
Good. Don't follow him.
Milkshake.
He's
Cookie
making
dough
the
milkshake?
milkshake. He's making the milkshake.
Okay. Cookie dough milkshake.
Mr. Cookie Dough over here.
All right. Yes. Rick, what do you want?
Mint chip shake you would like?
Mint chip, John?
If you're buying
I am.
chocolate chip malt,
Chocolate chip malt.
malt,
old school.
it's a malt
Wow.
made with chocolate chip ice cream.
Some people
throw some malt in it. Exactly. There you go, man. Blues, trumpet, and seeds.
Do you have your harmonica in your pocket right now?
Don't I left it in John's car. I think I have one in the car, and I have some in the.
How many do you have with you? How much contraband do you have with you, sir?
A lot. I have 12 or 13.
Is your trumpet in your bag too?
That's ours.
All right.
Hey, that's fine. I usually do. I didn't want to be rude though. I'll grab a harp on the way back to the engine if you want.
We might have to do something when we get back to Red Helmet training. And then you should see the counter start recording.
The counter has begun.
So how long have you been a fire chief now?
You know, it's funny you should ask that question. I was promoted to the rank of fire chief May 1st, 2018, so almost a year.
Okay.
I was the acting chief for a chunk of time before that, and assistant chief for almost 3 years before that.
Okay.
So I served 7 years as a captain, riding the front seat, which I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. It's nice to be back in the front seat.
Right.
And I started off in the fire service in the Boy Scouts of America Explorer program back in 1986.
As did I. Very great program.
As soon as I turned 18, I joined the Stratham Volunteer Fire Department in my home community. And I started in Durham as a second semester freshman at the University of New Hampshire. My father said I'd outgrow it, but I haven't yet. So I am thankful.
I'm actually surprised that your father has used the term outgrow and you in the same sentence personally, but
I don't know what happened. You know what? When I was a shift firefighter, I used to do civil engineering on the side, and I was lucky enough to work with my old man a lot of hours every week doing civil and structural engineering.
Right.
In a small family business. And I know it might seem a lot different, but I'm going to tell you that we had a lot of the same dynamics and issues and concerns that come up in our firehouse that we did with a family business.
right.
Anytime there's more than just one of us, we all have opinions. We're all trying to do the right thing. We're trying to make things go right, and we don't always agree.
Well, you definitely got lucky that they didn't take that civil engineering thing and just shove you over into prevention and you get stuck there for the rest of your life.
You know, we've talked about that path before, and it's funny you say that because, you know, I know in a lot of organizations people look at the Prevention Bureau as being a dead-end street or a place that nobody wants to go.
Right.
You know, when I look forward and look at the community risk reduction model, I look at the Prevention Bureau as being, we should have a community risk reduction bureau, not a fire prevention bureau. And we should be looking at what hurts the people in our community. You know,
Right.
on the university.
Drowning and falls. And,
Yeah, the ground level falls, just like the
Right.
kitchen fires. You know, what can we do to target our hazard population to help them, to improve their quality of life? So we're paying it forward up front, as opposed to, I'm talking about being proactive instead of
reactionary.
reactive.
Yeah.
It's forward thinking, man.
Now, is that something you're actually working on with your department? And if so, like what are some of the hurdles you're seeing with that?
The biggest hurdle we see with our Prevention Bureau is just staffing. You know, we have 2 full-time inspectors. They do just under 1,000 inspections in a year, and a deputy chief who oversees the whole program. And we still have a hard time delivering quality education to the community and in the schools. You know, we find time to read at the library and find time to make it, you know, whether it's having lunch with the high school students or the junior high, or participating in the surrounding communities elementary. We still, between inspections, mandatory inspections for the building department or for our housing standard, we never get ahead.
Well, we even need to do a better job of training our firefighters on how to interact with children, because the frontline fire engine crew is the one that a lot of times is going to those public events and all those types of things, and you know, how many times have you been to an event where they have these little kindergarten children out there, and the firefighter comes in fully dressed in their gear, wearing an air mask, and they don't want the kids to be scared. It's, you know, so I came up with a program at my previous department called Firefighter Says, kind of like Simon Says, and as you're getting dressed in your stuff piece by piece, they're pretending like they're getting dressed along with you, you know.
I like
Firefighter Says, jump into your firefighter boots. What color boots do you have? And you go up. You don't just walk in there fully dressed to a room full of kindergartners. And the reason why I'm saying kindergarten because I want to hear you say it.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yes, thanks. I don't understand.
But you know, teaching our firefighters at every level, you know, from kindergarten up to 3rd or 4th grade, there's certain curriculum out there. But the public education officers have been taught this, but they're not the ones out there doing every single program.
No, and you're absolutely right. And some of that is a paradigm shift in the hearts and minds of our members to understand that this is our mission, not just their mission. It's not just the fire prevention mission. It's just at the heart and core of the values of the Durham Fire Department. And we embrace the truck going to a block party. We embrace the engine going to a UNH hockey game. We go to University Day. Anytime we have an opportunity to show our skills, our wares, to set up the fire extinguishing demonstration unit, teach people about what we do, why it's important, and things that they can do to contribute, we're all ahead. And the only way we get there is by doing it together.
Yeah.
You can't make 3 people do it.
Well, even just yesterday when I was hanging out with Steve Przybowski on the episode yesterday, we were talking about a philosophy that I had called training in the streets. You know, hey, go out and train somewhere else in the community. Don't go throw ladders behind your fire station. Go get out there, get in the community. You know, then as people are walking up to the grocery store, it's like, oh, is the place on fire? No, we're out training. You know,
I do, and it's a mindset. You know, we have gone through cycles where the council didn't want to see fire trucks at the market. And we have turned it around into an opportunity where we can talk about our job and what we do to add value to people's lives every day.
Well, just a simple thing of just having firefighter stickers in your pocket that you can hand out. You know,
Absolutely.
if you go to the grocery store, that's what it's all about. I mean, the sad thing about it is we all know that one firefighter can't go in the grocery store and shop by himself. The entire crew has to go, but if it takes 3 or 4 of you to go grocery shopping, somebody should be able to pass out stickers.
No, and it's funny you say that because it makes me think of the old school mindset where you guys are using too many stickers. Those stickers cost money.
Right, that's crazy to think that.
And we look at it today where let's burn through as many stickers with new kids as we can because everyone we can touch. We understand why we're doing what we do and how we do it and what they can do because public safety starts at home. You know, you need to prepare your house, your family for the natural disaster, or whatever emergency it is in your household, whether it's having smoke detectors, CO detectors, an action plan, drills, to make sure that you can find your family when you get separated, and so you can put everybody back together when bad things happen. I really believe that starts at home, and it's public outreach that people like us can really impact everyday person who may never have a fire in their home, but can still get caught in the flood, the hurricane, the wind event, whatever it is.
Right. Well, in a lot of those programs too, you can make it to where it's a program that the firefighters can take ownership in. At my previous fire department, where I was actually the operations and training captain, I came up with a program called the Fire Duct Program. You know, they have the little yellow rubber ducks with the red fire helmet, you know, that you put in the bath, and it has the little hot water symbol, you know, if the bath water's too hot water burn baby stuff.
Like for people in kindergarten.
Correct. And amazingly, so what we did is I got probably 2 bags, 2 dozen of these things, and anytime a firefighter would deliver a baby in the field, the mom would get one of the firefighter would sign it with his name, but then the firefighter would also get one of these with the baby's name and the day the baby was born.
And you're engaging everybody.
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's not like we're delivering a baby in the field every day, like literally catching a baby in the field. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's like, hey, today you did something really special. You brought a new baby into the world, and you get to give this mom, you know, a nice little rubber duck for the baby to kind of see, you know, hey, there was a firefighter that caught me. You know?
That's totally cool. Well, I think, you know, in general, recognizing the successes of people in our organization. Sometimes we do really well at that, and sometimes we don't.
Right.
And it's important, you know. As the fire chief, I'm proud of the men and women that serve our community. We have a great group. The Durham Fire Department wouldn't be anywhere without them. And we're trying to provide ways of recognizing them to say, you know, thank you. You guys did a great job.
Right.
When a bunch of us were promoted this past year, we promoted hired a firefighter, swore him in. We promoted an assistant chief, and I was promoted in one service. And we had around 300 people come out from the business community, the campus community, and the town.
Wow.
And all of our firefighters, everybody put on their dress blues. And people in town said, we've never seen you guys dressed up before. Because so often we only dress up for a line of duty death, or, you know, weddings and guy, the other guy. It was about all of us together, moving forward as a family.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that takes those dress blue uniform out of the closet and figured out that it doesn't fit from the last time you wore it, you know?
You're right. It's part of who we are. Finding ways to showcase. Most of our guys are very humble. They'll ask for more stickers when they run out. They won't ask to be recognized for something extraordinary that they've done. Right. And a lot of people feel that part of my job, just doing my job, somewhere between those two ends of the spectrum, we need to find a way to stay in the media, in the social media, and to be able to report out what our agency's doing for the community.
Right.
How we're touching people one person at a time.
Yeah. Now, so you sitting in that seat as the fire chief right now, what's some of the other things that are new that you've developed or brought forward to make certain things happen for the organization? I mean, I guess first off, you have to worry about finishing probation, that you're going to pass probation as a fire chief, but what else are you looking to move the organization forward in new programs?
Great question. We are coming out of we've been in a different leadership model for the past 10 years, and we're just, I'm looking to build collaborative relationships at all levels within our organization, which means working with the Firefighters Association,
right,
and working with the Officers Association, and trying to bridge the gaps between us and town government to fund what we need to serve the community, as well as making it a cool place to work where people have fun every day, and we strive to be the best at what we can be in their careers and their profession, to take pride in our service, to be accountable to ourselves for doing the right thing, whether we're watching or not. I ask our people to do your best, to work hard, and make us proud. Do your best, work hard, and make us proud. If we can do that, it's a great foundation.
It sounds easy.
I know it sounds it's never that easy, but we're trying hard. We're working.
Yeah. Well, let's go have a seat and have some ice cream.
Tally ho! take ourselves too seriously,
Then what happens?
we get thumbs down.
That's what we get? A thumbs down?
That's what my guys are. Well, it's a fine line between walking
Have
the
you
walk and
guys
talk
set
the
the
talk.
standard with you? Like, know, like if you're too serious, you get this, or what?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say it's quite that formal.
I did have a thing as a company officer that there was a lot of times that if I was getting too captainy, that they would grab their bugles and play the imaginary trumpets on their collar. So I get what you're saying.
All I can tell you is it became a lot more relaxed when I became fire chief.
Well, not everybody has a fire chief